Alright, arcades, welcome to Manchester Union Brewery. Is that it?
Yeah.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Okay, let's try that again. Alright, arcades, welcome to Manchester Union Brewery. I've just been down shops to get me some clubber. Alright, arcade, welcome to Manchester Union Brewery. That was pretty good, wasn't it? Welcome to Manchester Union Brewery, where we make Manchester Union Lager. I'm getting quite good at this. Alright, arcade, welcome to Manchester Union Brewery.
Hey, don't be doing scouse.
I can't speak. I can't speak fucking Manc. I've been living here for 6 years and I still can't speak fucking Manc. I'm the only one that's not from fucking Manchester, and I'm the only fucking one that has to speak in front of the fucking camera. Yeah, so as you can tell, I'm not actually from Manchester. I'm the only one of the four that aren't. But I've been living here for about 10 years and I love Manchester, which is part of the story about why we're actually sticking Manchester on the can and why the brewery's named after Manchester, but we'll come on to that a little bit later. Number one, where we all start with, is the water. So the hot and cold liquor tanks. Manchester's really lucky to have all our water come from the Lake District. It was the Victorians that needed so much water to supply the cotton mills. So essentially you've just got rainwater collecting in the Lake District that comes down fully under gravity all the way to Manchester, and that's what gives us the softest water in the UK. From here, so this obviously malt hopper. We do things very, very differently to most breweries who would normally mash straight into the mash tun. We actually mash straight into the copper. There's a few reasons why that, but this copper is the most used tank in the brew house. So to do the decoction mash process, we take the beer, the mash in this tank up through the steps, but where we do things a little bit differently is through this pump. We take about 30% of the mash, the grains, the husks, everything, basically like a big thick hot porridge, and it goes into the decoction vessel. And this is where the magic happens, and this is what makes us different to most breweries in the UK. So in here we actually take that mash up to about 100 degrees, and with that you get sort of like the same sort of thing as when frying steak or toasting marshmallows. You get the Maillard reaction, which that sort of caramelization, but it also releases melanoidin, which gives you like a silky mouthfeel. But because we're still keeping the beer still quite dry, obviously we're keeping the sweetness down, but getting the mouthfeel from other elements, and that's the melanoidin malt coming through from this. So once we get that, it comes straight away back through the pump, back into the copper. That's when we complete the mash and the boil. And then from there, the 100% of it all goes straight down into the lighter tun. And from that step onwards, everything else is kind of like what you'd expect from a normal brewery. From the lighter tun through into the fermentation tanks behind you. So these are 4,000 litre fermentation tanks. In here, again in an ale brewery, that's going to sit in there for about 2-3 days. For us as a lager brewery, cold conditions, bottom fermenting yeast, takes about 2 weeks in here. So the 2 weeks, after 2 weeks in the fermentation tanks, come on through, Jamie, follow me. It then spends 4 weeks in the conditioning tanks. So right now we've got beer, I think, in pretty much every tank because we've been drank dry from the start of lockdown. But in all these conditioning tanks, the beer, basically at this stage, we're just letting the beer do the work. We don't do an awful lot here. We just maintain the temperature down to about 2 degrees. And all we're waiting for is the protein to drop out, any residual yeast to drop out, so we get as bright a beer as possible. And we get a more rounded flavour, so you'll get certain flavours like almost like sort of sulphur flavours, green apple flavours that will kind of round off and then leave a perfectly balanced beer at the end, ready for us to drink. At the end then we carve the beer up and stick it into kegs. But let's go try the beer. Are we still filming? Let's go try the beer. Okay, so trying the beer. First up, make sure you pour yourself, just like smash it into the glass. Make sure you get yourself a nice healthy head on the beer. The Germans and the Belgians would always say 3 fingers of head. So make sure you get yourself, pour it nice and fast, get yourself that big head. And that's really because what you want to do is you want to, what malt sweetness there is will be down here, and the bitterness is going to be in the head size. So just make sure you're really enjoying that. And take a massive whiff of that, and you'll just be getting the Saz hop, and the Marink is more for the bittering we add in, but that to me is a big Saz hit. So you should get plenty of that, and that's really typical of those sort of Central European lagers that you're used to drinking. But then, cheers, bottom it up. And that's delightful. So yeah, I hope you really enjoy that. But yeah, you're gonna get that sort of caramel sweetness as the backbone of the beer. And that just comes from that decoction mash process. A lot more body than a typical lager. And then it just finishes off with that real nice sort of floral citrus bitterness right at the end. But yeah, I hope you enjoy it. Cheers.